As state lawmakers return to Montgomery, we spoke to the Alabama Education Association about how expanded decisions will impact the state's public school system.
A quarry and future asphalt plant in the middle of town will not enhance the quality of life for the people of Belmina and surrounding area.
Folks in one small North Alabama town taking their concerns to the Limestone County Commission. The heated moments as the local pastor tells members to think about the children.
International visitors have made their way to this little space here in Huntsville, Alabama.
A Huntsville native drawing in visitors from around the globe. We shine the spotlight on William Hampton and his museum as we celebrate Black History Month. Well, it's a big change in the weather. Thank you for joining us for WAAY 31 News at 4. I'm Marie Waxel.
And I'm Dan Schaefer. Severe weather expert storm tracker Jeff Castle is back in the Tennessee Valley.
And we are so proud to call him our chief meteorologist. Many of you were, like myself, beyond excited when you found out that he was coming back to North Alabama. A truly dedicated professional, and I've had the pleasure of watching him do what he does best and call him a co-worker a couple of times before now.
Jeff, we were really thrilled to have you back here at the family.
And I'm super excited as well. I mean, there was a reason why I spent the amount of time in North Alabama before going on for career reasons. Marie and I met back up in Shreveport, Louisiana for a few years, where I've been chief up until now. But so excited to be back here. Just love this area. And excited to give you daily forecast updates and, of course, when the weather gets rough, to help keep you safe.
Yeah, based on our responses on social media, everyone in this town is happy to have you back.
It's a bit overwhelming and very heartwarming to see how people are responding and happy to see me back. I don't quite understand why, but it makes me feel good to see all the nice comments.
We are happy that you're part of the WAAY family and leading our WAAY 31 Storm Tracker weather team.
Absolutely. And again, super glad to be here. Keeping an eye, as always, on the weekend, and that is what we're going to be focused on again because, unfortunately, just like this past weekend, rain is probably going to impact some of it. We will be talking about this wet weather, tracking it out for you coming up in your forecast in just a few minutes. For now, though, enjoying a beautiful Monday, checking things out here on WAAY 31 Triple Doppler. Clean sweep all across North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee, and we expect it to stay that way for at least the next several days. Temperatures not bad either. 66 in Huntsville, Athens 64, out in the Shoals, Muscle Shoals, Florence 67, Scottsboro 68, Guntersville right now 63. Very pleasant and very mild for early February. Looking live here from our WAAY 31 Skycam network, powered by Thompson Roofing and Construction. All the pictures are the same: Huntsville, Decatur, Muscle Shoals, Guntersville, looking at that beautiful sky out there and lots of sunshine. If you have evening plans, no weather concerns out here. We will start to cool as the sun goes down, still in the 60s through the next hour or so, but then we'll begin a slow drop through the 50s after that. Back in a few moments, again, more on that rain for the upcoming weekend, plus what we can expect for the rest of this work week on the way in your forecast.
All right, thanks, Jeff. You can get Jeff's forecast from anywhere at any time if you download the WAAY 31 Storm Tracker weather app. You'll also have access to our 31 Triple Doppler. Best of all, it's free for Android and iPhone. State lawmakers will return to Montgomery tomorrow to start the 2024 legislative session. More than a dozen bills were pre-filed covering everything from property taxes and false reporting to abortion and post-election audits. One issue we haven't seen yet is school choice. However, Governor Kay Ivey says it is her top priority this session. WAAY 31's Paige Meyer joins us live now. Paige, Governor Ivey is expected to reveal her education savings account bill during tomorrow's State of the State address. What exactly will that mean for parents?
Yes, Dan. Schools like this one behind me, private schools like Randolph's, could be boosted if Governor Ivey's proposal makes it through the State House. Now, while we don't know exactly what the bill will encompass, there's been a lot of speculation that it may mirror the proposals put forth last year. Now, you may remember education savings account bills were proposed in both the House and Senate, but they did not pass. The Alabama Education Association says lawmakers are discussing a new voucher system. It would pull funds from local public schools to help relocate students to private schools or homeschooling. Allison Kling says we haven't officially seen a bill come through yet, but it could be sooner rather than later.
The truth is, parents already have full control of their child's education. They have the right now to send them to homeschools or to private schools or whatever works best for their student. We're just not currently paying for that with public dollars and taxpayer dollars.
King says if the new voucher system passes and is implemented, there's already been a lot of talk about how students' academic achievement will be monitored. She says academic success should be our top priority. Now make sure to stick around for WAAY 31 News at 5 because we'll dig deeper into this voucher program. But for now, reporting live in Huntsville with coverage you can count on. Paige Meyer, WAAY 31 News.
Thanks, Paige. Lawmakers will also consider a bill aimed at strengthening Alabama's child pornography laws. That proposal, pre-filed today by State Senator April Weaver, adds material produced through artificial intelligence, or so-called deepfake technology. She says it was prompted by a recent incident in Demopolis where photos of middle school students were uploaded to an AI website by classmates and used to make inappropriate images. Right now, processing with the intent to distribute child pornography is a felony that carries up to a 20-year prison sentence.
We also expect lawmakers to introduce another state lottery proposal early on in the session. Now, in previous years, we've seen the bills receive some support, but they normally fail getting past House lawmakers. However, this year, some lawmakers are turning the focus onto illegal and untaxed gambling. They say is happening right under our noses. They say the state could be collecting this money through a lottery, a compact with the Porch Band of Creek Indians, and online sports betting instead. New at 4, a man accused in a deadly stabbing will stay behind bars. Court documents show a judge revoked bond on a previous drug charge for Lester Cruz. Cruz was arrested Friday. He's now charged with murder and aggravated assault. Huntsville police say he stabbed and killed Zanella Pena Sandoval as well as a second person.
A Lauderdale County man charged with more than 100 counts of child pornography will spend a decade behind bars. Kelvin Davis pleaded guilty to 3 counts this morning for that 10-year prison sentence. He was arrested in July of 2022. Investigators say they found images on Davis's cell phone during a search of his home. That search was sparked by a tip they received in February of 2022. A Madison County mother convicted of manslaughter for her child's shooting death will not get a new trial. WAAY 31 News obtained records from the Alabama Court of Criminal Appeals showing it denied Alicia Parker's request for a rehearing. Parker was convicted last February. She was found guilty for her 1-year-old son Dante's shooting death. Parker is serving a 20-year sentence. In just an hour, Decatur city leaders will kick off tonight's meeting with a work session, the first following Mayor Tab Bowling's bombshell announcement he made last week that he will not be hanging around to listen during public comments.
WAAY 31 reporter Maddie McCaffrey is at Decatur City Hall for us this afternoon with what we can expect this evening. Maddie?
Yeah, hey, Marie and Dan. As we all know, over the past 4 months, there's been a lot of public outcry here in Decatur over the city's handling of the deadly police shooting of Steve Perkins that happened back on September 29th. Since then, hundreds of people have gotten up and spoken during public comments at our city council meetings. However, last week at the last meeting, Mayor Tab Bowling made an announcement that he would no longer be staying to listen to public comments, citing that he's often criticized during them and that he's received, quote, threats. So I'll be back here at 5 with an update on which city leaders will be here tonight and what we can expect for tonight's agenda. For now, I'm live outside Decatur City Hall with coverage you can count on. Maddie McCaffrey, WAAY 31 News.
Summers, Williams, Marquette, and McAdam, along with their attorneys, now have until July 24th to tell the Personnel Board if they want to reschedule the hearings. Otherwise, the board will close the cases. The hearings were originally supposed to happen last week, but the board received a request from all 4 asking for a postponement. As for Marquette, he's still facing a murder charge. His arraignment is set for March 3rd. Right now, he's out on a $60,000 bond. Well, February is Black History Month, and throughout the month, WAAY 31's honoring the achievements and legacies of African Americans right here in the Tennessee Valley. WAAY 31 reporter Dave Brazelton introduces us to a Huntsville native who created a museum to showcase his collection of Huntsville artifacts.
Those who've known William Hampton will tell you about his zest for knowledge about the Tennessee Valley and his huge collection of historical artifacts from family and friends.
One of the highlights of growing up in Huntsville was spending time with my great-grandparents, grandparents, and my granduncles and aunts, and learning about our community through their stories.
Which led to the Huntsville Revisited Museum at Memorial Parkway and Oakwood Avenue.
I always wanted to have a place that I could share the collection of my family, a trip down memory lane, I call it the front porch experience. We sit, we walk, we go throughout the building, and I share stories from my personal experience and then shared stories from members throughout the community. We go back to the farms, to the homes where the domestics worked, the plumbers, the everyday men and women.
And the response was amazing, from a PBS documentary to visitors from around the world that have made this unique place one to see in North Alabama.
I've been received by young, old, not just residents of Huntsville, but throughout the state, throughout America, and international visitors have made their way to this little space here in Huntsville, Alabama.
William Hampton, one man's personal effort to preserve the historical legacy of the Tennessee Valley, celebrating the history and impact of African Americans in the Tennessee Valley. Dave Brazelton, WAAY 31 News.
The North Alabama school system still dealing with fallout from the end of segregation within its district. Coming up on WAAY 31 News at 4:30, the action Lawrence County school leaders are taking ahead of a federal hearing later this month.
Health concerns, noise, and a decrease in property value. Those are just 3 of the concerns from people living in a small Limestone County town. New and next at 4, a look at their continued efforts to stop a rock quarry from coming to Belmina.
And today's mild temperature, something we could get used to. We've got more on the way. I'll have the details coming up in your forecast.
New at 4, one by one, people from a small town in Limestone County spoke in front of commission leaders this morning. They hope to stop a rock quarry from coming to their community. WAAY 31 News has been following this developing story out of Bellmina since December. One of the main concerns, the potential health impacts and how it will impact the kids in the community. Cody Gilliam, pastor of Bellmina Methodist Church, brought up a recent statement from one of the commissioners who said, quote, "It would be spiteful to not allow the company to build the quarry."
There's an asphalt plant next to Tanner Elementary School. Would you come here, ma'am? Would you come here? Here are some babies that have to breathe the asphalt air at Tanner Elementary School. Look at them. It's spiteful to make them breathe terrible air at their home, too. It's shameful to say it's spiteful against the company.
Leaders with the Alabama Department of Environmental Management are set to tentatively meet on March 7th at Calhoun Community College. They're expected to discuss the proposed quarry and then vote. One of North Alabama's biggest electric providers is getting a major financial boost. Joe Wheeler EMC received $5.25 million from the state as part of the Alabama Anchor Institute and Middle Mile Grant Program. It plans to use the money to expand flash fiber service in Cortland, bringing high-speed internet to businesses, schools, and healthcare facilities. The planning phase of this project is expected to start later this year.
This afternoon, California slammed by a powerful winter storm, packing hurricane-forced winds and flooding rain. 8 counties under a state of emergency. ABC's Jacqueline Lee is in Santa Barbara, where that storm continues to evolve.
Dramatic scenes throughout Southern California as it gets pummeled by an atmospheric river, dumping more than a month's worth of rain in 24 hours.
I never imagined it would be this bad.
First responders performing swift water rescues, mudslides slamming into homes and down trees, destroying cars. The typically dry LA River now raging.
Stay safe and off the roads. Only leave your house if it is absolutely necessary.
And a mudslide destroying 2 homes in Studio City, leading to the evacuation of 16 people.
Just to clarify, 11,958 and 11,960, those are the homes with the most damage.
That's correct. At this time, those are the only that did incur damage from the debris flow.
ABC's Ginger Z is in Studio City.
Here in Studio City, that is the hillside that collapsed in heavy rain. The debris flow, the rocks coming down into this home, blasting through their garage and pushing that car. Look at the debris that lined up here, smashing into the SUV and flowing down the street.
Another massive mudslide in Beverly Hills this afternoon. Tons of mud swamping homes, cars, anything in its path. California Governor Gavin Newsom declaring a state of emergency in 8 counties, including San Diego, Los Angeles, and Ventura. Winds up to 80 miles per hour in the San Francisco Bay Area, knocking out power to more than 900,000 customers. A dramatic rescue near Santa Rosa after this colossal tree fell onto a car and trapped the driver. Later rushed to the hospital with severe injuries. And in San Mateo County, a 100-year-old eucalyptus tree toppling in this fierce weather, blocking the entrance to a preschool.
And despite this rough weather, the LA Unified School District, which is the 2nd largest in the country, will remain open. The stormy weather will continue through Tuesday. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Santa Barbara.
Meanwhile, at least 122 people are dead following devastating wildfires in Chile. This is new video showing the destruction in the city of Valparaiso. The Chilean National Disaster Prevention and Response Service says there are 161 active fires burning right now across the country. A state of emergency is in effect for coastal cities where the majority of the deaths have happened.
Now, WAAY 31 Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle with 31 Triple Doppler.
Beautiful start to the week.
Beautiful start to the week. Beautiful start to Jeff Castle's return here to the Rocket City and points all around North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee.
Yeah,
welcome.
You're welcome for bringing sunshine with me on the first day.
Yeah,
I know.
We will take it.
Yeah, I said earlier on a post welcoming you here that we gave you a break on the weather, really, the severe weather, just to let you get a breather from the move over.
Yeah, but we're going to throw you on air your first day. I think you've been in the building all of 4 hours at this point, maybe 4.5.
Yeah, just not very long, but you know, ready to go. Ready to go.
Happy to have you.
Yeah, happy to be here. We've got the dry weather, we've got the sunshine right now, but of course, it's not going to last. Giving you an early preview here of our next weather maker, and that one's going to start impacting us as we wrap up the week. and unfortunately get ready to head into the weekend. We're dry for the next few days, so enjoy that while we've got it. Should have a good bit of sunshine out there as well. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, no rain. Friday, though, rain chances up to 70%, and we'll still be tracking some showers on Saturday and very likely on into Sunday as well. How much rain are we talking about? Well, this is the potential over the next 7 days. Northern parts of the area heading into southern middle Tennessee out here toward the shoals, probably averaging around 1 inch, 2 inches of rain, and most of this is going to come during the Friday through Sunday time frame. You head south, along and south of the Tennessee River, and we're talking places like Haleyville to Coleman, Gunnersville, Scottsboro to Fort Payne, maybe upwards of 2 to 3 inches of rainfall, probably close to a couple inches, Huntsville and Decatur as well. And I know we made some progress here recently, really chipping away at the drought conditions here across North Alabama and southern middle Tennessee, and this will certainly go a long way to helping to continue to whittle away at those dry conditions that we've had here in recent months. Our threat tracker, though, looks good. Tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, again, good bit of sunshine, and it's going to continue to be mild and quiet for us, at least for the next several days. Taking another look here at WAAY 31 triple Doppler radar, and again, it's a clean sweep out there. This picture will not change until later this week when we'll be tracking the return of some rainfall coming in for you Friday. All right, let's show you what to expect here the next 24 hours with future radar, and we've got the clear conditions out there. Quiet night expected with those clear skies. There will be a little bit of a chill in the air come tomorrow morning, maybe even a little scattered frost on the car windshield, so allow yourself a few extra moments for that. But otherwise, 6 a.m. on your Tuesday, no weather concerns out the door tomorrow morning. Clouds that you see, these will be thin cirrus clouds coming on in, really will not impact any sort of sunshine out there. And as we take you through tomorrow afternoon, once again, should have plenty of sun here all across the area. So enjoy that while we've got it. Again, tonight will be a cold one. Huntsville down to 35, 36 in Gunnersville tonight, Decatur 36 for you, same out towards the shoals there in Muscle Shoals. We take you through the day tomorrow and should be a really nice one. Plenty of sun from start to finish. Again, these are just thin cirrus clouds that'll be rolling on through. North wind probably brings our temperatures down just a hair from where we were today, but we'll still manage to climb through the morning hours, going from 40 at 8 to 49 at 10. Noon hour, we're at 56. Into the low 60s tomorrow afternoon, and then we'll begin our cool down back into the 50s late in the day tomorrow and on into tomorrow evening. Highs include 63 for Huntsville tomorrow, Gunnersville 61, Decatur 62. Moulton also looking at low 60s heading into tomorrow afternoon. Here's a look at your 10-day forecast. Again through Thursday, no issues. Wednesday, we're back mid-60s. Slight cool down on Thursday, but still running near that 60-degree mark. And then there's the weekend. And yeah, we're not happy about this, are we? Rain chances back starting on Friday. They'll continue Saturday, Sunday, possibly into Monday as well of next week. Temperature-wise, though, not bad as we stay in the 60s for highs. We will be tracking some cooler weather again heading into the first of next week. Those weekend rain chances, so I'll give you an early look with our future radar kind of timing out when we can expect most of that wet weather coming up in the next 30 minutes.
Gosh, all 4 days, though.
Don't make your weekend plans without seeing that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And we want to remind you, too, to follow you on social media. You've got your social media, Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah, meteorologist Jeff Castle. Would love to have you follow me there.
Yeah, get the very latest. And the rest of our team as well. Amber Kulik and morning meteorologist Chris Anello.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. And stay with us. We'll be right back.
New at 4, Britain's King Charles has cancer. Buckingham Palace announced doctors found it while the 75-year-old was undergoing a separate procedure.
Now, however, the palace did not release the specific type of cancer, the stage, or the type of treatment. It says he has started regular treatments and will not attend public events during this time, but will still handle paperwork and state business.
A new problem for Boeing. A memo reveals the company found a supplier misdrilled holes in the fuselage of 737 MAX jets that have not been delivered yet. The 737 MAX factory in Renton, Washington will spend several days working on a repair here. Boeing says this is not an immediate flight safety issue and all 737s can continue operating safely, but it could delay the delivery of MAX planes to the airlines. Well, this is just the latest setback for Boeing after that scary mid-flight accident last month. All 737 MAX 9 planes were temporarily grounded, but Boeing says nearly 94% have all been inspected and returned to service.
Coming up, the fate of a Michigan mom charged after her son killed his classmates now lies in the hands of a jury. Why Jennifer Crumbley's defense team says she made a mistake. Coming up on WAAY 31 News at 4:30.
And Alabama lawmakers back at work in our state's capital. On the other side of the break, a look at some of the bills and what's on the table and what this all could mean for you and your family.
And it may be Monday, but we've already got our sights set on the weekend. I'll have a preview of our next best chance for rain and how it may impact those plans coming up in your forecast.
Coverage you can count on. This is WAAY 31 News at 4:30.
And we do thank you for sticking with us for WAAY 31 News at 4:30. I'm Dan Schaefer.
And I'm Marie Waxel. We are so excited to introduce to you all, reintroduce some of you to...
He's a new but familiar face.
Yes, severe weather expert, storm tracker, chief meteorologist Jeff Castle is part of the WAAY 31 family now.
So glad to be back here, and so glad to be here at WAAY as well. I don't know what to say. I mean, the 12 years earlier that I spent here in North Alabama, always kind of had in my back of my mind, you know, maybe I'll get back there someday, and here I am.
Yeah, and everybody is, the whole audience here is thrilled to have you here.
Yeah, super excited about what the future holds as well. So.
And what a nice week to welcome you back. Kind of mild and calm for you.
Yeah, it was raining yesterday, my first full day back. I traveled here Saturday, but nice to see the sunshine today, and we're going to get that, it looks like, for at least the next several days, so I expect to see more of that on the way before we see rain make its way back in for the weekend. Also enjoying the mild weather out there. Look at these temperatures. This is not bad at all for the 5th of February. We're talking mid-60s early into the month. Not bad. 68 in Scottsboro. That is the warm spot. Muscle Shoals checking in 67, 63 right now in Haleyville. Get out and enjoy that. Next few hours will continue to be fairly mild before we start our cool down heading into tonight. Checking things out here on WAAY 31 Triple Doppler. It is a clean sweep. Of course, that was not the case yesterday when we had that steadier light rain across the area. But we're going to give the radar a little bit of a break here in the next few days as we keep the dry conditions going. Beautiful shot out here right now. We take you to Lake Gunnersville on our WAAY 31 Skycam network. Powered by Thompson Roofing and Construction. And again, nice shot out there. You can see the sun. We've had plenty of that across the area today, and looking forward to a little bit more of that in the coming days as well. Here's how it breaks down over the next 6 hours, again through 5 o'clock, still in the 60s, and then we start cooling through the 50s as the sun goes down. North wind at around 10 miles per hour this evening, and after 10 o'clock tonight. A little chill in the air. We'll be dipping out of the 50s and eventually into the 40s and 30s a little bit later on tonight. We'll chat more about those cold nights but pleasant afternoons ahead, and again, a preview of that rain for the upcoming weekend on the way in your forecast.
Alabama lawmakers kick off the 2024 legislative session in Montgomery tomorrow.
Big topics like gambling, education, voting, and public safety are on the table. Lawmakers also expect to expand the state's workforce, discuss funding for roads, and pass the general fund and education budgets. We could also see lawmakers take up legislation on school choice this session.
Last year, they proposed but did not vote on a bill allowing families to put almost $7,000 in an education savings account to pay for private school or homeschooling. Governor Kay Ivey says school choice is her biggest priority and has promised to bring her own bill on ESAs. Now, we expect to learn more details on this proposal during her State of the State address set for tomorrow night. Lawmakers will also consider a bill that would make it a felony to fake a kidnapping. State Senator April Weaver says this legislation is a response to a 2023 incident where, you may recall, Carly Russell staged her own fraudulent abduction in central Alabama. The 24-year-old eventually admitted to the scam, but not until after an extensive 3-day search was performed.
I was outraged when it was discovered that the entire incident was an elaborately staged hoax. It wasted thousands of taxpayer dollars and hundreds of human resource hours within our local, state, and federal law enforcement community.
Now, this bill would punish someone who files a false report of an abduction with up to a decade in prison. And if it passes both houses and is signed into law, it would go into effect October 1st.
Just the smallest thing could have saved Hannah and Tate and Justin and Madison.
Jury deliberations now underway in the unprecedented trial of Jennifer Crumbley. She faces an involuntary manslaughter charge after her son shot and killed fellow students at his Michigan high school. ABC's Rena Roy has been following the trial.
12 jurors now deliberating behind closed doors in the Jennifer Crumbley trial. The fate of the Michigan mom in their hands. She's facing 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter and, if convicted, up to 60 years in prison. After her son opened fire at Oxford High School in 2021, killing 4 fellow students.
As jurors, you must decide what the facts of this case are. This is your job and nobody else's.
The jury, made up of 6 men and 6 women, seeing evidence and hearing testimony for the last 2 weeks. Several of them are parents and had experience with guns. Prosecutors say Crumbly and her husband bought their son the gun used in the shooting, failed to secure it, and ignored multiple red flags concerning his mental health, including declining to take him home from school the morning of the shooting despite seeing these disturbing drawings.
And not only did she not do it, she doesn't even regret it. It's a rare case to take some really egregious facts. It takes the unthinkable. And she has done the unthinkable. And because of that, 4 kids have died.
The jury asking the judge questions, including if anything can be inferred from the prosecution not bringing in certain people like the shooter or others who could answer specifically how he got the gun. The judge responding no. Crumbly has denied any wrongdoing. Her defense team arguing Crumbly was a hyper-vigilant mother who made some mistakes but never could have known her son was a threat.
Not just for Jennifer Crumbly, but for every mother who's out there doing the best they can, who could easily be in her shoes.
If Crumbly is convicted, it would be the first time in American history the parent of a school shooter was found guilty in their child's attack. Her husband's trial begins next month. He's facing the same charges and has pleaded not guilty. Ethan Crumbly pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Lawrence County school officials seeking to end a desegregation order.
New and next at 4:30, what they plan to do ahead of a federal hearing later this month.
New at 4:31, North Alabama school system seeks to end a desegregation order in place now for decades.
Lawrence County school leaders say they worked closely with the NAACP Legal Defense Fund on a proposed consent order. If approved by a federal judge, the consent order could result in the dismissal of the desegregation order. Still, the proposal requires Lawrence County schools to keep Hazelwood Elementary open for at least a decade and calls for funds to construct a gym at the school. It also requires the system to provide 2 school buses to transport students from the former R.A. Hubbard campus to extracurriculars, among almost a dozen other requirements. Now, the original desegregation order stems from a 1966 lawsuit filed by Walter Horton. He lived in Lawrence County and wanted his 5 kids to go to a desegregated school. As for the proposed consent order, it will go in front of a judge on February 16th. Huntsville City Schools is also under a consent order that stemmed from desegregation order. That district has met transportation mandates as well as requirements on faculty and staff. Back in September, a federal judge ruled the system no longer has to provide regular updates on hiring Black administrators and faculty. However, the next step is to meet the requirements on items like facilities, educational access, and student discipline. Of course, WAAY 31 News marked the 60th anniversary of desegregation in Huntsville City Schools with a takeover day back in September. You can still see all of those stories, learn the history, plus watch our interview with Sunny Hereford, the first Black student to enter an all-white school, right now on WAAYTV.com and on our WAAY 31 News app. In Washington, big changes could be coming to the U.S. immigration system if a Senate bipartisan border deal and foreign aid package becomes law.
That's a big if. While the bill has an uphill battle in Congress, it would dramatically reshape the asylum process and grant new powers to the president if passed. Gloria Pazmino joins us live now from New York to break down all these details. Gloria.
That's right, Dan Marie. It is certainly facing an uphill battle, but as you said, it could bring significant changes to a system that hasn't had any legislative changes in more than 2 decades. It would give the U.S. power to close down the border if migrant encounters increase above a certain number every day, and it's going to send billions of dollars in aid to Ukraine and to Israel. The question right now is whether or not they have the votes to pass.
Amid an intensifying migrant surge at the U.S. southern border and raging conflicts overseas, a bipartisan legislative proposal was unveiled Sunday to address these crises and dramatically change the U.S. immigration law for the first time in decades.
This bill is vital to America's future interests.
Among the changes, new emergency authority for the executive branch to restrict border crossings if certain numbers are reached, raising the legal standard of proof to pass the initial screening for asylum, expediting the asylum process from years to 6 months, and a new process for U.S. citizenship and immigration services to decide asylum claims without going through the courts.
All the things that we build into this to make this a much stronger system, gaps that are in the law, get closed in this structure.
The $118.2 billion package also provides critical aid to key U.S. allies abroad, including additional support for Ukraine, security assistance for Israel, as well as humanitarian assistance for civilians in Gaza and the West Bank. While Senate leadership is pushing for passage,
We have to persist because this legislation is too important to the country.
the compromise faces an uncertain future. GOP House Speaker Mike Johnson calling it dead on arrival, despite demands from Republicans to contend with the border crisis.
We have to decide as Republicans, what are we going to actually do about the border?
One thing they will need is bipartisan support in order to get it done. And for now, they've scheduled a vote for Wednesday. Unclear if we even get there to see the vote play out. I'm Gloria Pazmino in New York. Back to you.
Gloria, real quick, the president, former President Trump has already weighed in on this. Explain the Trump factor, if you will, and will his opposition prevent this from happening?
Yeah, that is a significant part of this equation, and that's because Trump has made it very clear that he is opposed to this proposal. He has said that he thinks it's a bad bill. Not only that, but he's made it clear that he wants to be able to campaign on the border crisis and on the issue of immigration. So if they pass this legislation, the issue in some ways would have been addressed. And that message has been heard loud and clear by some of his allies, including people in Congress, like the House Speaker, Mike Johnson, who has said that the bill is dead on arrival. So the Trump factor is significant here in terms of people supporting or opposing this legislation.
All right, we had a little bit of technical glitches, but you could hear her loud and clear.
Gloria Pezzino reporting for us. We appreciate it.
Now, WAAY 31 Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle with 31 Triple Doppler.
We are thrilled to invite you to welcome a new but familiar face to the WAAY 31 Storm Tracker team.
Yeah, Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle, as you just heard on that intro. Man, we turn it fast, right? You just got into town
That's
yesterday,
right.
and we've got all the branding set and ready for you.
Yeah, first day, got the jitters, butterflies in the stomach, but you know what? We're powering through it. Movers were here this morning, so not only my first full day here yesterday, first day at work today, the movers were here, so we got a lot going on. At least the weather's quiet.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't have to drag stuff out of the truck into the house in the rain.
I know. Are
That's
you going
always
to
a
be able
plus.
to sleep? When are you going to actually get a full night's sleep? Tonight?
I
Tomorrow?
hope tonight,
Okay.
yeah. Last night, anticipating day one, anticipating movers, a little tossing and turning to be expected. But yeah, super happy to be here, and I'm glad we got some quiet weather for now, and it's going to stay that way for the next few days. Unfortunately, the weekend, not so much. Giving you an early preview here for North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee, and it is looking unfortunately wet. Saturday, we've got rain coming in for some. Maybe not everyone sees it, but some of you will. And Sunday, right now, the trend is that it may end up being wet for most. Now, temperatures won't be bad. Will remain in the 60s. That's a little warmer than average for this time of year, so won't complain about that. But don't like to see rain on the weekend, especially for a second weekend in a row. Let's kind of give you an early preview of it. And keep in mind, timing, placement of probably going to change. So I encourage you to check back with me for the latest updates here in your WAAY 31 Storm Tracker forecast. But as it stands now, Friday morning, likely a swath of some rain coming in. Indications are this may kind of fall apart as it moves through the area, so perhaps not high impact in terms of rain amounts, but rain nonetheless there heading into the last day of the work week. And then there's the weekend. Let's talk a little bit about it. We see rain beginning to spread back in, mostly across perhaps the southern portions here of North Alabama, along and south of the Tennessee River, perhaps areas to the north, maybe a little bit drier. Sunday, though, again, the trend is looking wetter for everyone. This is 9 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, and you can see widespread wet weather here across the area, likely continuing on into Sunday afternoon as well. So if you're kind of making plans at this point, Sunday is trending to be the wettest day out of the weekend, but even Saturday may have some rain that we're going to have to get through as well. No rain right now, though, on WAAY 31 Triple Doppler. It's a clean sweep all across the area, and we'll give the radar a little bit of a rest here for the next few days as dry weather will remain in the forecast. Waking up tomorrow morning, it is going to be a cold start, so that'll be the only concern out the door on your Tuesday. 35 around 6 in the morning, 37 around 7. We'll be at 40 at 8, and 45 degrees around 9 in the morning. But like today, decent amount of sunshine will be on the way. Some thin cirrus clouds coming on in, but that will be about the only thing that Mother Nature will throw at us heading into the day tomorrow. These are your forecast highs across the area. Stevenson 64, same for Scottsboro. New Hope, Owens Crossroads area 63, Huntsville, Madison. Same story in the low 60s. Decatur, 62 for you tomorrow. Rogersville, the same. And out here across the shoals from Russellville up to Florence, back out towards Cherokee, looking at temperatures again in the low 60s. Down just a little bit from what we have seen so far this afternoon, but still very nice for this time of year. Checking out your WAAY 31 Storm Tracker 10-day forecast. We will remain quiet through Thursday. Temperatures at or above the 60-degree mark. Mornings will be a little chilly, though, 30s to around 40. And then here comes the rain. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, possibly lingering into next Monday as well. Weekend temperatures not a problem in the 60s. Morning lows will be in the 50s. But as we work our way beyond the rain early next week, it is going to start to cool off again. Not a significant drop. We're not going into the deep freeze again anytime soon, but we'll see temperatures back a little closer to what we would expect here in February in the 50s for your highs, drying back out again perhaps by Tuesday.
Yeah, it's been an unusually warm run here.
It has, but it kind of makes up for what we had just a few weeks back, right?
It all balances
Yeah.
out.
Thanks and welcome.
Thank you.
It is one of the most common childhood disorders. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, affects millions of kids, and symptoms can persist into adulthood.
But some experts say misinformation about the disorder on social media may put some people at risk. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither explains why an expert says ADHD self-diagnosis could be dangerous.
If properly diagnosed, people with ADHD or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder can get medication to help with symptoms like the inability to concentrate or sit still. Social media may be helping to reduce stigma surrounding this disorder, but some believe it's doing some damage too.
I think the whole conversation around mental health, of course, has changed for the better in the sense that people are actually quite open and honest about talking about their individual struggles. But the challenge or the flip side of it is that it almost becomes talked about term in the popular sphere where clinical terms might start to get misused.
Clinical psychiatrist Dr. Anthony Young and his colleagues started studying ADHD videos posted on social media after noticing more patients coming in for help with focus and concentration. Young says the research revealed more than half of the top 100 most popular videos posted on ADHD at the time had misleading information about the disorder. Their concern is that more people are diagnosing themselves with ADHD and getting treatment they may not even need.
If everybody starts identifying themselves as having ADHD, if like 10% becomes 20%, becomes 30, becomes 50, becomes 60%, then really what is the disorder that we're talking about here? Where are we drawing the line?
If you suspect ADHD, health experts say it's important to see a doctor to be evaluated. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Still ahead, 3 people in custody this afternoon after leading officers on a high-speed chase. Those details, where it happened and why, next at 5.
Coverage you can count on. This is WAAY 31 News at 5.
A proposed school choice bill could reshape Alabama's education system. How this bill could impact your child's public or private school.
Changes could come to the City of Decatur's parade ordinance this evening. I'm WAAY 31 reporter Maddie McCaffrey live in Decatur with the details on how it could impact protests in the River City.
Plus, a strike against Iran-backed targets. Why U.S. officials say they're prepared to take further action.
Thank you for joining us for WAAY 31 News at 5. I'm Dan Schaefer.
And I'm Marie Waxel, and we ask you to join us in welcoming severe weather expert, storm tracker Chief meteorologist Jeff Castle back to the Tennessee Valley.
Jeff, so glad to have you back home here, eager to get your hands on the 31 triple Doppler. Not much happening right now, so we'll just take a moment here to say hello.
Yeah, and hello. Glad to be back. Spent 12 years earlier in North Alabama, just a few years back, and super excited to be back. What's new? Yeah. Well, lots of things, and I've watched from afar how much Huntsville has changed, and now I'm super excited to be a part of this growing and thriving community and bringing you the best weather coverage here in North Alabama.
I've been here for almost 7 years, going on 7 years, and I feel like we need you here more than ever now.
Yeah,
the weather
absolutely.
has been crazy the last several years.
And if you've never seen him in action, just watching what he does and the dedication that he has to keeping all of you at home very safe and informed, this is the right man for the job.
Okay. $20 coming to you after this.
All right, sounds good.
I appreciate it very much.
Happy to have you.
Super excited to be here, and fortunately we've got quiet weather for the time being. No severe weather on the horizon. That is some good news. But rain, unfortunately, will be back, and you can see when it's coming. This is 11 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. Yeah, we're talking weekend wet weather, and I'll be tracking that out in more detail coming up in your forecast. Right now, though, not tracking anything on WAAY 31 triple Doppler. Clean sweep all across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee, and enjoy the dry weather while we've got it for the next several days. Current temperatures are also very nice. Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, the coolest spot at 59, but that's doing pretty good for early February. Athens, Decatur, Huntsville, all in the low 60s, mid 60s, Scottsboro, and over towards Fort Payne. So very pleasant conditions out there. Checking things out over in the Shoals right now, our Muscle Shoals on our WAAY 31 Skycam network, powered by Thompson Roofing and Construction. Sun will be setting here shortly, but boy, we've had a nice day of blue sky out there. Forecast as we work our way through the evening is going to stay quiet, mostly clear skies. Breeze will be out of the north around 10 miles per hour. And yeah, if you're going to be out, maybe running some errands here on this Monday evening, grab the jacket. Temperatures will be cooling through the 50s in the next several hours. Back in a few moments, not only talking weekend rainfall, but some mild weather will continue for much of this week. I'll have the details on the way in your WAAY 31 Storm Tracker forecast.
And remember, you can access the same technology Jeff uses as well as our team of meteorologists every day when you download our WAAY 31 Storm Tracker weather app. It is free to download on all of your devices, and you'll also have access to our 31 triple Doppler right there in the palm of your hand. Alabama lawmakers return to Montgomery tomorrow to kick off the 2024 legislative session. This is Governor Kay Ivey's expected to reveal an education savings bill at the State of the State address. WAAY 31 reporter Paige Meyer joins us live this evening. Paige, what can Alabamians expect from tomorrow's events?
Marie, today I spoke with the Alabama Education Association about this upcoming legislative session and what we can expect for both public and private school students. Now, Governor Kay Ivey says that making sure Alabamians have a quality education is a top priority for her. Now, while we don't know exactly what her bill will encompass, there's been a lot of speculation that it may mirror proposals put forth last year. You may remember education savings account bills were proposed in both the House and Senate, but they did not pass. The Alabama Education Association says lawmakers are discussing bringing a new voucher system here to Alabama. The AEA says anywhere from 80 to 90% of people who are receiving vouchers nationwide currently are already in private schools. King says money will be taken from the Education Trust Fund budget out of public schools and given to students to attend a school of their choice. She actually doesn't believe that vouchers will be able to totally fix students' academic achievements here in Alabama.
We've always had full parental control and choice in schools in Alabama. This option is just saying we're going to have the public taxpayer dollars pay for those private options. And it's a unique dynamic. You know, we don't really do that in any other public sector of our world.
King says if the new voucher system passes and is implemented, there's already been a lot of talk about how students' academic achievements will be monitored. She says academic success should be our top priority. Now make sure to stick around for WAAY 31 News at 6 because I will have more on these bills coming forward. But for now, reporting live in Huntsville with coverage you can count on. Paige Meyer, WAAY 31 News.
Thanks, Paige. Big changes could be coming to the U.S. immigration system if a long-awaited Senate bipartisan border deal and foreign aid package become law. While the bill has an uphill battle in Congress, if passed, it would dramatically reshape the asylum process and grant new powers to the president.
All the things that we build into this to make this a much stronger system, gaps that are in the law, get closed in this structure.
The $118 billion package would also provide critical aid to key U.S. allies abroad. Those include additional support for Ukraine, security assistance for Israel, and humanitarian assistance for civilians in Gaza and the West Bank. Tonight's Decatur City Council meeting will be underway in just a few minutes, and it will be the first one since Mayor Tab Bowling said he will no longer stay to hear citizens' concerns during public comments.
WAAY 31 reporter Maddie McCaffrey joins us live from Decatur this evening with a closer look at what we can expect tonight.
Yeah, hey, Marie and Dan. Tonight's agenda, it's rather short and routine, except for the last item that city leaders will be deciding on. It's an amended parade ordinance. And if you recall, back in December, Mayor Tab Bowling made it a requirement that you must get a permit in order to protest anywhere in the city. Since that move of his, people with the Justice for Steve Perkins movement have been pushing to get the city's parade ordinance amended. Now that's up for vote tonight, and in it says you do not need to get a city-approved permit to protest anywhere on public sidewalks and public places in Decatur. Now this, in order for it to pass, it needs a unanimous vote from all the council members. And the last time that this was up for vote, Councilman Hunter Pepper voted against it. So he blocked the amended parade ordinance. So we will see what happens tonight. Of course, we'll keep you up to date on air and online at WAAYTV.com. I'm live in Decatur with coverage you can count on. Maddie McCaffrey, WAAY 31 News.
The U.S. says its strikes against Iran-backed militant groups are only just beginning. The U.S. recently launched dozens of airstrikes against more than 85 targets. This in retaliation for the deadly drone attack in Jordan. ABC's M. Nguyen has the latest details.
The U.S. says its actions are not over against Iran-backed militants blamed for the January 28th drone attack in Jordan that killed 3 American soldiers.
This is the start of our response, and there will be additional actions taken to hold the IRGC and affiliated militias accountable for their attacks on U.S. and coalition forces.
White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan saying the U.S. is also prepared if its response escalates tensions with Iran.
From the perspective of Tehran, if they chose to respond directly to the United States, they would be met with a swift and forceful response from us.
The U.S. has been launching a wave of airstrikes against militant groups backed by Iran across the Middle East. Friday, the U.S. hit 85 targets inside Iraq and Syria, local authorities reporting dozens killed. And over the weekend, the U.S. and U.K. hit dozens of Houthi targets across Yemen using warships and fighter jets. The U.S. also taking out cruise missiles that posed an imminent threat to ships transiting the Red Sea. The coalition, though, not backing down, pledging to keep carrying out its military operations. Still, President Biden says he believes the U.S.'s response is deterring these groups.
Are the airstrikes working? Yes.
This as Secretary of State Anthony Blinken arrived in Riyadh today and met with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince, hoping to broker a new hostage exchange deal between Israel and Hamas while tamping down regional tensions. The last time Secretary Blinken was in the Middle East, he played a key role in facilitating a week-long ceasefire. As for that deadly drone attack that prompted the U.S.'s response, Iran has denied any involvement. M. Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
McDonald's says turmoil in the Middle East is hurting its business. In the region, the fast food chain mostly licenses its brand to independent companies. McDonald's said sales in that unit grew less than 1% in the last quarter. Now, just a year ago, that area was the best performing with more than a 16% sales increase. Meanwhile, in the U.S. and other global markets, McDonald's saw a more than 4% growth. The parent company of Snapchat is cutting roughly 500 jobs. According to a regulatory filing by Snap Inc. on Monday, the cuts impact 10% of its global full-time staff. The company said it's looking to restructure its team, estimating the changes will cost up to $75 million. The latest layoffs at Snap come after the company cut about 1,200 jobs in 2022. 3 in custody after a high-speed chase in Florence. We hear from officers about how their patrol car ended up in flames.
And a massive storm hitting the Golden State. How much rain officials say the storm could bring to the West Coast.
And tonight on WAAY 31 News at 6, the Marshall Space Flight Center welcomes a new but familiar leader.
Coverage you can count on. You're watching WAAY 31 News at 5. with Dan Schaefer, Marie Waxel, and Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle.
New at 5, a high-speed chase in a stolen vehicle lands one man and two juveniles behind bars in the Shoals. That chase happened over the weekend. Florence police tell us Kamari Clardy and the two juveniles led police on a chase Saturday afternoon. It ended at Cox Creek Parkway and Leland Street. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but a police unit did catch fire while police chased the suspects on foot.
Initially, we speculated that the vehicle was caught on fire due to mechanical failure, but after the fire investigator looked at it, they determined that it was an accidental fire from the vehicle being parked over leaves and the heat coming from under the vehicle causing the fire.
Yikes, and we've seen those images. We've got it for you online and on our WAAY 31 News app to take a look at that vehicle in the aftermath. Now, both juveniles are charged with attempting to elude police. Meanwhile, Clardy faces a slew of charges, including receiving stolen property and possession of marijuana. He's being held on a $33,000 bond. 12 jurors are deliberating behind closed doors in the Jennifer Crumbley trial. The fate of the Michigan mom is in their hands. She's facing 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter charges and, if convicted, up to 60 years in prison after her son shot and killed 4 fellow students at Oxford High School in 2021.
An intense, long-lasting winter storm is moving across California, impacting millions of people. The cyclone already causing widespread power outages and bringing heavy rain. And there is still a threat for mudslides and life-threatening flooding. Ivan Rodriguez shows us some of the damage so far.
Millions of people across Southern California remain under a high risk of excessive rainfall. Early Monday morning, crews were busy rescuing people across the state trapped by flooded waters. Nicholas Pasculi, spokesperson for Monterey County, says even though they have high capacity in their reservoirs, they'll be keeping an eye on water levels.
The biggest thing we're concerned about is watching the river levels, of course, because oftentimes the rivers don't reflect the amount of water that's come down until the water comes off the mountains and the watershed.
Parts of Los Angeles, where the heaviest rain is located, are forecast to receive close to half a year's worth of rain by Tuesday. By the end of the storm, parts of Southern California could see between 4 to 8 inches of rain, with higher elevations seeing 8 to 16 inches, and a considerable amount of snow in mountains and foothills. Officials warning for the potential for life-threatening flash flooding and landslides in central and southern parts of the state. Some people who were preparing for this storm felt there was only so much they could do.
We can be prepared as we want, or like the county could do whatever they want, but like Mother Nature takes its course.
The storm is expected to pound Southern California through Monday night.
We could use a break from Mother Nature, that's for sure.
With coverage you can count on, Ivan Rodriguez, WAAY 31 News.
Now, WAAY 31 Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle with 31 Triple Doppler.
You heard that right. Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle.
Welcome.
Thank you.
To the palatial studios of WAAY 31.
It's great to be here. It's fantastic to be here.
Yeah, some of you might recognize Jeff from years past.
Yeah, and he's a familiar face and a longtime friend to so many of us, and we're so happy to have you leading our team.
And so excited to be here as well. Great to be back in North Alabama, Huntsville. Loved it when I left. Loved it even more now that I'm back. It's just grown so much.
He is real. This is not hologram. He's here with us in studio.
Yeah, absolutely. Just thrilled to be here. Glad we got some nice weather for now. It's of course going to change just in time for the weekend because sometimes that's just the way it goes. But we're just going to power right through it though. Let's talk about it, giving you an early preview here of those weekend rain chances. We'll start to see some wet weather back into the picture as we work our way on into your Friday, and then from there we're going to be in and out of the rainfall, so kind of plan accordingly. It won't rain the entire time. We will get some breaks in the wet weather, but it is going to be a little bit difficult to get in some of the outdoor plans. Friday into Friday night looks pretty soggy, fairly high rain chances. Saturday the chances do trend down just a little bit, and then they're back up again, it looks like, on Sunday. So we'll keep you updated as we make our way a little bit closer. You know how it goes this far out. We'll adjust the rain coverage, the chances, and the timing of all of it as we get a little bit closer. So be sure to check back with us throughout the week for the latest details in your WAAY 31 Storm Tracker forecast. In the next few days, though, our threat tracker looks good. No problems out there, no concerns about impactful weather coming on in. In fact, quite the opposite. Lots of sun, pleasant conditions, and actually some fairly mild temperatures for early February. Enjoy that while we have it. Checking things out here, WAAY 31 Triple Doppler Network, no problems. Of course, we were tracking the rainfall yesterday to close out the weekend, but dried out nicely here for your Monday, and we're going to give the radar a little bit of a rest for the next few days as rain will not make a return until we work our way on it to the end of the week. Future radar showing again those calm conditions through tonight into tomorrow morning, expecting to see generally clear skies. What you see cloud-wise, those are thin cirrus clouds moving overhead. We'll make for a nice sky from time to time and certainly won't be enough to block out any sunshine for us. Lunchtime tomorrow, again, plenty of sun and blue sky, and we work our way through the late afternoon hours. Here's 4 o'clock on your Tuesday, and the picture looks just about the same, and I don't expect Wednesday or Thursday will be a whole lot different, either in terms of sky conditions or in terms of temperature. Temperatures, though, speaking of which, tonight will be cold, probably a little bit of scattered frost out there in the morning. So if you're already making plans for your Tuesday, give yourself a few extra minutes to run the defrost before you can head on out. We'll be down well into the 30s, but staying above freezing in most areas. 36 for Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, Madison, around 35, 36 Decatur. Will drop to 36 over in Jackson County there in Scottsboro overnight. Tonight, planner for you tomorrow after the chilly start. Should get a nice bump in temperature into tomorrow afternoon with, again, good bit of sunshine. We'll go from the 40s into the 50s by 11 o'clock, 57 around 1. and then expect to see another day in the 60s heading into your afternoon hours. We're expecting about 61 for Athens, Fayetteville, Huntsville, 63 tomorrow, Moulton 62, 63 in Muscle Shoals, down in Coleman. Expecting a high also into the low 60s, and that is warmer than average for this time of year. Checking things out here on your WAAY 31 Storm Tracker 10-day forecast through Thursday. No weather issues. Temperatures will fluctuate a little bit from day to day. Down slightly tomorrow from today, back up on Wednesday, and then down just a little bit on Thursday, but still remaining warmer than average. Mornings, 30s to around 40 for the next several nights. We work our way into the weekend. There's your rainfall starting on Friday, continuing off and on Saturday, Sunday, and perhaps lingering into the start of next week as well. At least the temperatures won't be bad, staying in the 60s despite those rain chances. We will cool again early next week, but at least not a significant drop off back into the 50s for your highs, and probably around maybe the middle of next week may get our next opportunity for a widespread freeze across the area.
Plants not in the clear just yet.
No, don't. Everybody's tempted because the pots on the patio are looking pretty bad. But
you get the warmer weather, and you start thinking spring, but we still got the rest of February to go, and even into March we can have those cold snaps as well.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. Glad to have you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. Soccer fans in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico now have a clearer idea of what the 2026 World Cup will look like. On Sunday, FIFA announced where the big games will be played in an expanded tournament with 48 teams. The sport's been exploding in the U.S. over the last decade. The national teams, full of young stars. At the last World Cup in Qatar, they showed what they're capable of. And with another 4 years under their belts and a home crowd with their backs, they're dreaming big.
I think if we're going to try to reach our goals at the World Cup level, we need players that are playing at the highest level each and every week. And when you see what some of our guys are doing, you know, whether it's Christian, whether it's Eunice, whether it's Timmy WAAY, Weston McKennie, Gio Reyna, you know, Matt Turner, the list, Serginho Dest, the list goes on, right? But they're playing at the highest level every week.
The first of the 104 games will be played at the iconic Azteca Stadium in Mexico City on June the 11th.
Man. Well, the sun's setting on your first full day on air here in North Alabama.
Yeah,
Chief
I'm
Meteorologist.
seeing the view behind us.
Pretty.
Yeah.
It's beautiful out
You missed
there.
that, didn't you?
I did, yeah. And especially here from top of the mountain, it is gorgeous.
Spectacular.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking quiet as we work our way on into the evening hours. So if you are going to be headed out here, just grab a jacket. That's about all you're going to need. Temperatures will be falling through the 50s between now and 10 o'clock, and then back into the 40s after that. Quiet weather for now. But again, the weekend promising some rainfall. We are going to chat a little bit more about those weekend rain chances and just how much we could see before it's all said and done coming up in your forecast at 6.
All right.
WAAY 31 gives you 24/7 coverage you can count on. Local news, breaking news, and severe weather.
You can watch WAAY 31 on all of our streaming platforms. Download the Only Weather app with 3 live Doppler radars, and be sure to check out our new Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle on his social media pages as well. World News Tonight with David Muir starts in just a few minutes.
We'll see you back here for WAAY 31 News at 6.